Hello and welcome to section 2 of Unit 2 of International Procurement. Today we'll be looking at the political and legal system. By the end of this section, you should be able to understand the political and legal system, list of political and legal factors in a business environment, effects of political factors in business environment, and some importance of discerning political business environments. So the political environment, as we mentioned earlier, as a sub-dimension or as a sector of the business environment, can affect business institutions in many ways. It could increase the risk factors and might lead to a significant loss. So, for example, as we already know that systems or political parties or political systems rule the business environment. Whatever thing that they may say, the political terrain may give, or whichever direction the political terrain may give, will be what businesses would follow. So you should recognize that the political factors have the ability to change results and can also influence government policies from local to federal levels. As I said earlier, many political factors have an impact on business industries, coming from the theory of governing party to the political feedback and then economic trends. So as I mentioned earlier, political systems or political and legal systems have that power to choose the direction businesses or the directions industries tread. Again, if the administration policy changes, these make up uh, political factors. So the changes can be economic, social, legal, but it could also be these factors. So some of the changes that political systems can um, influence the business environment is increases or decreasing tax could be an example of a political component. So the tax increment or tax decreases is one way political systems can influence business markets. Again, the political environment is possibly the least likely component in a business and in the business industry. So we are seeing that it may be the least component. What do you call the political environment is possibly the least likely component in the business industry, but then it has that um, power to change business directions and business trends. Again, we look at some list of political factors that can affect business. So trade control, that's if you are telling you to trade in this one and not to trade in that one. Corruption levels, before you get even your businesses signed or your products on the market, you have to pay bribes and all that. Bureaucracies, that's long distances in doing things or long procedural ways of doing things. Tariffs that we put on certain products or certain goods entering a country. So freedom of the press, that can also be, so when the freedom of the press or the freedom of the media is oppressed, I mean against the business settings or things happening in the business environment, that could also be a political factor that affect businesses. Competition regulations, they could equally regulate competition. That's okay. For this product, only the government may be the sole distributor of this product. So governments or political systems could have what do you call it competition regulations, where they have some firms or some industries, some organizations or some businesses not entering into specific businesses or specific line of production. So for example, you say, oh, for electricity, it is solely the government's responsibility to provide, and hence any other third party that wants to um, enter into that service provision may not be allowed. Again, regulations and deregulations. Enacting regulations and enacting regulations. Again, education laws. So laws on how you can even get information and all that. Discrimination laws, where some people of a certain race or some people of a certain caliber may be discriminated against, and then antitrust laws, where political factors, antitrust laws, all of these could form as political factors that affect business environment or affect businesses. So employment laws, there are a number of them. Data protection laws, health and safety laws, environmental laws, government abilities and changes, stabilities and changes. So the changes of governments could also be a political factor that affects businesses. Import limitations on quantity and quality of the product, legislation that manages environment pollution, consumer e-commerce and protection. All of these ones affect the business environment or the businesses. All of these are political factors that affect businesses. So effect of political factors. So we look at some effects of the political factors on businesses. So government changes in their rules and regulations could have an impact on the business. So if you take a critical look, the previous slide talks about some of the factors that affect business environment, and we are looking at some of the effects it may have on the business, or the effect some of these factors may have on business. So the political condition of a country um, affect its commercial settings. So the economic environment affect business presentations. Again, the absence of political stability, as we already know, we learned in social studies that if the political terrain is not stable, it can also go a long way to affect business operations and all that. Again, we look at the importance of discerning political environments. So businesses should check their political environment, and that is true. I mean, there's the need for businesses to check their political environment in which they operate. So the changes in political factors can impact company strategies because of, I mean, some of these reasons. So governments view business as a crucial vehicle for social improvement. So businesses are a vehicle for social improvement. So organizations are a tool that, I mean, help to improve our lives socially. So if there's the need for discerning political, I mean, effects on the business environment. So it is more likely for organizations to take note of, I mean, the impact the political and legal systems can have on the business. Again, a stable political system can affect the position of a particular local market, and that is true. So a stable political system can affect the position of a particular local market. So because there may not be changes in government, or because there may not be um, democracy where governments after a term would have to be subjected to voting, uh, there's this tendency of the local market's position being ignored. So for example, let's say we are in a country where the government has been on seat for 50 years. I mean, if you have any concern, who are you going to talk to? So that's also another importance of discerning political environment. Again, another importance of discerning political environments is that government passes legislation that can also influence the relationship between firms and the suppliers, customers, and other companies. So, all government activities or all government passed legislations affect every member of the supply chain or every member of the business environment. So, for uh, there's also the need to discern in political environments. So basically, why do we have to? These factors are answering the question: why do we have to focus, or why do we have to put our attention on political environments and its effects it may have on the business, the political and legal systems and its effects it may have on the business environment. Again, another point is the government is the primary consumer of products and services, and that is true. No matter what, every government is the main consumer or the primary consumer of products, goods, and services in a country, since government buys more than any other individual. Again, government actions impact the economic environment. As we mentioned earlier, that the government legislations have a long way to impact the to impact the economic and business environment. So in this section, we looked at the political and legal systems and we understood it. We listed some political and legal factors in the business environment, and then the effect some of these political and legal factors have in the business environment. And lastly, we look at the importance of discerning political business environments. Thank you.